Now y'all know I done gave y'all plenty of videos explaining things that I done got myself in situations over while I was locked up in prison. This right here is gonna be another one of the dumbest things that I found myself getting in a fight over. So y'all sit back, get ready and enjoy it, because for this one, it isn't even over a specific item. It was over a specific name of something. And it just blows my mind, but at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta go through certain things, either to prove you're wrong or because the other person was trying too hard to prove on their end. So let's get into this. Dom the best, finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga, yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around and bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with locks. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2 comes violent, first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone, I'm a charger, don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. KFROG TV back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Today I'm going to be telling y'all another episode of one of the dumbest things that I got to fight over when I was locked up. Okay? If y'all remember the one that I dropped a few weeks ago or whatever it was, I got an argument over what was better between KFC and Popeyes. Stupidest things, but at the same time, it be things that once you get up to that level, there's no other way of resolving or solving the issue other than physical fighting, you know? And for this one here, it was the stupidest shit, I feel like, but at the same time, whatever happened, happened, okay? Now, I had a bunkie of mine. We were sitting in the cell, you know, vibing. And, of course, when y'all go to talking about certain things or mentioning things on the streets or anything like that, anything that you say or anything that you hear, whether that person agrees or disagrees, or whether it feels the same on your end, people just like to argue sometimes. People like to throw their opinion out there. Sometimes people like to just pick the opposite of what you're saying just because it's a challenge to go back and forth to see who's right and who's wrong. You know, stuff like that. And at this time, my bunkie I had, I fought with him. I talked to him still to this day, you know, believe it or not. And I told him I was going to drop this video about how me and him got in a fade when we were in the cell. And he said, shit, go ahead, do what you do. I'm proud of your success, dog. Keep, you know, dropping that shit. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. So my bunkie, first thing I want to say about him is we didn't always get along at the time. You know what I'm saying? And when we first got put in a cell with each other, you know, the bond was actually, you know, we were cooler in the beginning than we were in the middle, and then us fighting made us more straight. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to that boy Slick. You heard me, from Dade County, Florida. But anyways, so Slick, one of them competitive type people. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't matter what it is. Like, it could be a conversation. It can be something you're seeing on TV. It could be, you know, a sports on the rec yard. Whatever it is, he's just competitive like that. Anybody that remembers Slick knows. You feel me? So we got in an argument because we were talking about the streets. We were just chopping it up, and we were talking about different things. And we were, you know, and I used to get magazines, you know, sent in and shit like that. So I'm flipping through the magazine, we talking and shit. You know, it's like you rotate. It's like one person lays down while the other person's walking back and forth telling stories. And then next thing you know, shift change. And then bam, the person that was walking around, now he sits down with the other person's got what he's got to say. You feel me? Like that. So we're taking like shifts back and forth, just making time go by because we were in confinement. And next thing you know is we're going through the magazines and shit. You know, when you got a magazine and you're inside of confinement or just in prison in general, you're going to read every single thing in that magazine. I'm talking about you're going to go through that magazine to see if you missed anything. You're going to meet the small print's going to mean something to you, every single thing. So I remember I was flipping through the pages and weird whatever, and it caught my attention that one of the celebrities that, you know, it tells like their interview. It breaks down their interview in words. And when they asked the celebrity what one of their favorite snacks are, right, they said chocolate covered pretzels. You feel me? So when they said chocolate covered pretzels and shit, I remember I was saying to my bunk, I said, hey bro, you ever had chocolate covered pretzels? Right? And he was like, he's like, yeah, I seen them before. I said, them shit's gas, ain't it? He's like, yeah. So we go to talk about chocolate covered pretzels, right? So now as we're talking about the chocolate covered pretzels, I'm like, yeah, I said, man, I ain't seen them shits in so long. I said, man, I think them shits is called flips. You know what I'm saying? That's the name of them, the ones that I remember. Flips. Like you flip something, flips. And he was like, nah, man, I think they're called dips, right? Like you know, and his shit sounded more believable. You feel me? Like, oh, it would make sense. You dip a pretzel in chocolate. You know what I'm saying? So we go to going back and forth and shit, but I was like, man, I could have sworn them shits was called flips, right? And look, I got a bag right here. Flips, right? So here we're in, prison, obviously. So we ain't got no way to prove nothing or anything like that, right then and there. So as we're going back and forth, he's like, man, I'm telling you, bro, they're called dips. This and that, da-da-da. What you think, bro? You dip a pretzel and fucking this and that, this. And the way he was saying it, since he's so competitive, you know what I'm saying? Which it's funny, we can laugh about it today, but, when he breaks it down and he's saying it, it's like he's insulting you, like you're stupid or something at the same time as he's telling you this, right? So I'm like, hell nah, bro. I said, man, they flips, bro. So next thing you know, I'm sticking up for what I believe. He's sticking up for what he believes. So we go to arguing. And he's like, oh, since you like to write letters so much, this and that, why you don't ask your peoples? Blah, 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 blah. He starts saying shit like that. I said, man, I'll write my peoples right now. And I'll tell them to send me a picture in of what them shits look like. You feel me? So we go to arguing and shit like that. And here we go to selling out. We go to talking shit back and forth about each other. That shit leads to, because he was black and I was white. So it leads to him saying white people think they always know it. And then I'm telling him it ain't got shit to do with no colors. And then he's talking about, oh, you think I'm wrong because I'm black. It just led to like a whole nother thing than what, it was about. You feel me? Next thing you know, we're arguing back and forth over this whole situation. And we ain't talked about the damn chocolate covered pretzels for 30 minutes. Now we're beefing and arguing about some other shit. And tension was high and we were finna get into it right then and there, right? And it wasn't shower night. So, in confinement, they got Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays when they bring you to, they cuff you up. They bring you to the shower for a couple minutes so you can, shower in your individual shower cage. So, at the same time, we were arguing and shit, but neither one of us were pushing the issue about a fight. But you could tell, like, we both were down the fade if it came down to it because we were both speaking our mind. You know what I'm saying? We even had people in the cells next to us telling us to shut up. The boys were like, man, y'all boys shut up in there. This and that. They're yelling on the door. He get on the door, start yelling at them. I get on the vent, start yelling at the people upstairs. But at the same time, I diffused the situation because I said, I'm writing it in the letter right now. And when this shit come back, we're going to see who the dummy is. You feel me? Since you want to say, I think I know it all, and you want to try to make me feel stupid and this and that, we're going to see who the dummy is. You feel me? When this shit come back. Now that what calmed down the situation is we had to wait damn near 8 days. 8 to 10 days for a response, from my peoples on the streets because we're in confinement. So you send the mail. The way that it was going, it was like 3 to 4 days for them to receive my mail. And then if they write back right then and there, due to the weekends and shit too, it takes a couple days because mail don't run on the streets on Sundays, and they don't give out mail in prison on Saturdays, even though it runs on the streets. So it was 8 days, 8 to 10 days, like 8 if they write back the same night and drop that shit in the mail to go out the next day. 10 if they do it the next day, shit like that. So it dies down for 10 whole days. All right, check this out. It dies down for 10 whole days. Next thing you know, that mail comes. Now, let me mind you, right? Like when I said my dog Slick's competitive, right? Every time I got mail, like until that shit came, he was ready to try to prove his point. He was ready. He was like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was at the door like, uh-oh, mail call. Like he was asking the officers when they walk around, hey, Sarge, what's up with that mail? You feel me? And then he'd be like, we're going to get this shit over with today. We're going to find out today, frog. You feel me? He was so eager, you know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I was like, damn, he might be right. You feel me? But I knew if he was right, I was like, man, I ain't going to hear the end of it, dog. But it did sound more believable, you know what I'm saying? And I told him this plenty of times. I said, whatever it is you're thinking of and what I'm thinking of, chocolate covered pretzels, you know what I'm saying? I said, There might be some called dips, but there's for sure some called flips. You feel me? You might have seen something that I ain't seen, and I might have seen something you ain't seen. See, I tried to like say it the right way to where I'm letting them know I could be wrong also. He didn't want to hear that shit. Nah, there ain't no such things named flips. I'm telling you, they're all called dips. I don't care which ones it is. There ain't this and that, this. So he was so dedicated to what he said. Next thing you know, 10 days later, mail call, mail call. And boys come around, they give me the letter. I open the letter. Going through my mail, you feel me? Inside of the mail I get, my people's printed out. It's not in color or nothing, you feel me? It wasn't like they printed it out of like a colored ink printer machine. It was just black and white, you feel me? But they printed the paper out, and it was actually a picture of this same exact thing right here. Flips, which is what I was talking about. Chocolate covered pretzels, right? So I show it to him. So when he sees it, he grabs it, he start looking at it. He like, man, hell no, bro. And he was holding the paper. He said, man, hell no. And he like flipped it like this, so the paper like flew, you know, like a frisbee. You know what I'm saying? Man, hell no, bro. Man, you people's lying, bro. So now he started calling my people's a liar. You see, this is where it led to something else. You see, this is where it was like, man, I jumped up. I said, look, man, I ain't even trying to hear that shit, bro. I told you that's what it was I was talking about. You feel me? Like straight like that. He's like, man, you told them people, man, this and that, this and... Oh, let me backtrack. And I even proved to him before I sent my mail out, I said, look, bro, I even put it in parentheses. Send me a picture of the bag of chocolate-covered pretzels out there. I believe they're called flips. And I put parentheses. I showed him, like, look, bro, that's all I'm going to write right there, bro. That's the easiest way to explain it. He talking about, oh, you must have wrote something different when I wasn't looking. Or, you know what I'm saying, they purposely made that picture of those things because you wrote the word flips in parentheses. Like he started like calling my people a liar. So when I jumped up and told him, man, look, bro, it is what it is, bro. Like we ain't even got nothing on the line. We ain't betting nothing. I said, you might be talking about some yogurt covered pretzels or some shit like that that's called dips or something. I'm talking about chocolate covered pretzels, you feel me? He's like, hell nah, bro. I'm talking about chocolate covered pretzels too, this and that, man. I'm telling you, man, that shit photoshopped. So now I tell him, look, dog, you straight trying me now, slick, you feel me? You disrespecting my peoples, you know what I'm saying? We gonna have to fade over this shit, dog. I'm just being real with you, bro. It ain't more fun than games no more, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he like, oh, what you think? What you think? I ain't down the fade? And he fucking takes his shirt off. So next thing you know, I'm like, shit, it don't matter to me. Fuck it. Come on, line me up. The people in the cell that was saying shit from 10 days ago, they saying, man, we tired of hearing about this shit, man. Y'all shut the hell up. People start talking shit. And I'm yelling whatever room they're in. Like, I believe we were in room 4 at the time. And this was people in room 3. And then we had people above us, like, talking shit. And I remember I was just yelling out the door, man, fuck room 3. Fuck room 3. Fuck room... Like selling them out and saying, you know, just to let them know I ain't gonna go back to the... You feel me? So next thing you know, me and him throw our set up. And we run up to each other. And we don't throw no hands, though. We run up and we just start grabbing each other. But when we go to grabbing each other, that boy grabbed me like this and had his arm, like, locked around me. And he tried to dig his chin into my fucking collarbone right here like this. Like he was pushing down on me, you feel me? So I couldn't get him all, you know what I'm saying? So what I did is I headbutted him. So as I started headbutting him like this, that boy stole me. Boom, boom, boom. And then we just started throwing blows. We started hitting each other. You feel me? But it was funny because he like, yeah, I don't care. I still think they call dips. So I said, man, bro, they fucking say flips. And I rushed him again. We start fighting again. We throwing blows and that bitch, just chucking them shits. You feel me? And I believe the reason me and him got cool after the whole situation was because both of us stood up for what we believed for. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, I had to fight because I felt disrespected. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like he was trying me when I got actual physical proof. And he was trying my peoples. He had to fight because he felt wrong. You get what I'm saying? And some people hate to be wrong. So when they're wrong, the only thing they know how to do is to like insult or disrespect you some type of way. You get what I'm saying? Now, it wasn't like he was talking full blown like crazy, like disrespectful about my peoples, but he was calling them a liar. You know, he didn't know which peoples I sent it to. You know, he he just was saying that, man, hell nah, bro, look, this shit ain't even in color and shit, you know. So as me and him go back and forth, and we bump a little bit back and forth, it was funny because here he was skinny. Like, he's skinny and black. I was short, chubby, and white. You feel me? Like, we were, like, totally the opposite. But both of us was, like, locked in throwing them bitches, you know. And I know when it comes to somebody skinny, you know, or, like, with skinny-ass hands and shit, you know, people say, oh, bro, that boy can't hit hard, yada, yada, yada. Well, one thing I know is usually people that are skinny, they knuckles cut easily. Like, you feel me? So I still had to be careful. And he had a reach on me, so I was up on him as we were throwing blows. I didn't want to give him that much space to where he could, you know, throw him, because I know, like I said, I know they knuckles be like knives. You feel me? So it's like they might not hit hard, but that shit connect, boom, and it could, you know, split your shit easily, believe it or not. So we literally fought 3 rounds over this shit. You feel me? The first round, boom, when we did the headbutt, and then he started hitting me, blah, 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 and then he swore it was dips, and I said, man, they flips, and I rushed him again. We start fighting. Next thing you know, that was the second round. Next thing you know, we get away from each other. You got to look at it. We're in a cell, okay? They're not showering the night, you know what I'm saying? We're in this bitch sweating. We're both going to have to take a bird bath now in the sink just to cool off. You feel me? There's no air conditioning inside of confinement, you know what I'm saying? So we separate from each other, and I'm like, man, it is what it is, bro. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. You feel me? So then he was like, shit, I don't want to talk either. I don't want to talk either. You feel me? But he kept repeating it. His stupid ass. He kept repeating, I don't want to talk, bro. I don't want to talk either. I don't want to talk either. You feel me? This and that, yada, yada, yada. You feel me? That's why I don't want to talk. So he kept going while I already said I don't want to talk. You feel me? So I said, look, bro, just shut up about this shit, dog. You straight up, bro. We might as well line that shit up again. He's like, that's what I wanted. That's why I wasn't talking. That's why I wasn't talking. And he throws his setup. And he caught me with a good one, though, because when he threw his setup, he knew I was going to come at him. So when I went to come at him, that boy swung one, boy. I ain't going to lie. He swung one before I got up on him, and boom, that boy connected. He didn't cut me, though. Like, he didn't split me or nothing. But after that, it was a wrap. I was on him. You feel me? He was, you know, we was just face to face, and we were bumping up against the sink and the door. Like, you got just such a small, to where you can't really bump. It's like if y'all this close, you're just trying to hit them as much as you can from, like, up close. You feel me? Like, you couldn't really get it in, but we were still hitting each other, bro. Lumping each other up and shit like that. You feel me? All over the name of chocolate-covered pretzels. You feel me? See, like I tell y'all on videos, you know, I don't try to promote violent shit, you know. I just try to keep it real with y'all and break it down for y'all and let y'all know the stupidest and the realest shit that I went through while in prison, because I want people to know it can happen to you. It has obviously happened. I've seen it happen. I've went through it, you know. People feel like when they hear stories from other people in prison, they either think the worst or they think the weakest, you know, because everybody who's on prison genre, everybody in prison, they want to sound like they're the toughest inmate, they're the biggest, the baddest. They went to the worst camp. It was so savage. It was so scary. It was so horrific, so bloody, so gutter. But then you think about it, but they made it through it with no problems. You see, that's how you know when they're, you know, it's not. Or they try to act like it was so soft, it was this, it was weak, people didn't try them. They just got lucky and landed at, you know, a softer institution. You feel me? Some of my institutions I went to were softer than the other. You know what I'm saying? But I've seen both. I've seen ratchet. I've seen, you know, to where it can get ratchet. And then I've seen where that shit ain't nothing. You get what I'm saying? And anybody who's been to a real violent camp knows how violent it can be, how violent it was. And then anybody who's been to a soft camp only doesn't know how violent it is. Don't know the shit you go through. So that's why I drop these videos. You get what I'm saying? I don't want people to think I'm promoting violence or anything like that. I just try to tell y'all the stupidest shit that I've got into it over and the littlest things that people argue over. You see what I'm saying? And it leads to fights. You feel me? Now look what I told you. And I even was talking to Slick about this shit the other day. I literally told Slick, I don't know what you seen, but what I seen said flips on them. I even said that. Like, you could have seen something that's called dips, but I seen something that's called flips. You see what I'm saying? So there could have been both of them. There could have been dips, you know, chocolate covered pretzels or yogurt covered pretzels, and there could have been flips, chocolate covered or yogurt covered pretzels. But I was letting him know that he could have been right. Wasn't denying that he could have been right. But my opinion was it was called this. And he started saying, there ain't nothing called flips. It's called dips, man. There is no thing called flips. That's what he was saying. He was saying whether it was the chocolate or the yogurt, all that shit's called dips. Which then I started feeling more confident about what I was saying, you know, because I'm like, he said like a big statement, you know, trying to say there is no such thing, rather than saying, well, what I'm talking about is called. No, he basically said there was no such thing. And once I got that shit sent in there, I was so right. And he was so quick to try to swear I was so wrong. You feel me? And it led to a fade. You see, the littlest things over the name of something. You see? The name of something that we don't have access to. But best believe, when it comes down to something like that, we're going to try to find it. We're going to try to find a way. And you got to look at it this way. If you're in the compound, like if you're not in confinement and you have access, you know, like to call from the jail phone, you know, and you ask your people, hey, go online, what's the name of them such and such? And you put them on the phone and let them hear what your people say, they're going to feel like your peoples are just lying over the phone. You see what I'm saying? So they want to see it with their own eyes. They really want to see it. And you already know, if I would have had a cell phone in confinement at this time, I would have Googled that shit and popped it right up. Well, that shit would have got resolved the first day. But the way that it was, that argument, that disagreement that we had at the time, right then and there, about this one thing at that time, it would have been to where we just fought 10 days before. We would have fought the first time because we were both standing on what we wanted to stand on from the get-go, you see? So the fight would have led on the first day. I was thinking that maybe when that shit came, you know, it would resolve from us getting into a fight. But he was so dedicated that he was so right that by the time that shit came, you know, he got disrespectful because he was hard-headed and we had to get into it over it. You see what I'm saying? But that shit made us cooler still to this day because we both knew we'll fade each other. You see, there's got to be an understanding sometimes, you know. It's got to be to where you'll know somebody's living like that, and you'll see them get into it with other people and handle their own, fight that person, or get a knife, stab that person, razor blade, cut that dude, or do whatever they have to do, and you'll know they're living like that. But then you have that feeling like, but they won't try me like that. You feel me? They won't fight me probably. You know, when people got that big alpha male feeling to where sometimes y'all just got to get it over with. And it'd be the littlest shit that bring it out. The littlest thing, man. I got in a fight over the name of the chocolate covered pretzels that I've ate before. You know what I'm saying? That I remember seeing. You see? And like I said, if I would have put him on the phone, he wouldn't have believed it. They want to see that shit in person, right? Then, you know, and I did, hey, well, look, we can't do nothing about it now, but wait these 10 days for this mail to come back around. When the boomerang come back, and then, bam, we'll figure it out. And then I would have been like, damn, bro, you was right. You feel me? Like I would, if he was 100% right, if they would have sent me this shit, but like, oh, couldn't find those, but this is what we found, dips, then I would have been like, oh, all right. But it went from, like I said, the name of them, to him saying there was no name called flips, you see? So he kind of like changed what my whole thing was in the beginning. I was saying the ones I seen were called flips. He said his was dips, you know what I'm saying? He said they're called dips, I said they're called flips. And the next thing you know, he started saying there's no such thing as one's called flips. Every one of them are called dips. And it, like I said, it makes more sense because chocolate covered pretzel, you dip it in you see? And I told him there could probably be both, and he said, man, there's no such thing. And boom, over the littlest thing we had to fight. You feel me? But anyways, y'all, that's all I got for you on this one right here. This episode 2 of the dumbest things that I got in a fight over while I was locked up. All right, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all drop in the comment section, man, any little heated moment or anything you got into, a verbal or physical altercation over the stupidest stuff when you were locked up. And I ask y'all to put things like this that have to relate with the videos I drop, because everybody that watches my channel really pays attention to the comments, believe it or not. So just because I got into it over the name of some damn chocolate covered pretzels, you may have got into it over a name of 2 different types of barbecue chips, you know, and you drop that in the comments, someone might see that and be like, yeah, man, there was once this person that got in a fight over, you know, chocolate covered pretzels. I seen his YouTube channel, and there was people in the comments saying they got in fights over 2 different color or flavored barbecue chip. You see, so the comments go a long way. That's why I ask y'all to do that. That's why I ask if any of y'all can relate, and for anybody who can't relate, just know it's possible to happen. Anyways, y'all, I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all already know, like I always say, make sure you keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, and clout chasers out your circle, man. Till next time, this the one and only. I am my team, Frog.
I'm a criminal, I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though.
I'm a cool nigga, but I got a limit though, cause I'm a criminal, yeah, I'm a criminal.